Good morning, everybody. This is Robert People, and thank you for listening to People's Court. Today is Friday, May 1st, 2020. And there's a lot of discussion about, if you want to call it discussion, about a young lady by the name of Tara-Reade, a former Senate aide, and sexual assault allegations she's brought forth against Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden. And the discussion is very simply this. The back and forth is about why the same ones, mainly Democrats, mainly liberals, mainly those who believe Donald Trump and Brett Kavanaugh. Of course, we know that Donald Trump has several sexual assault allegations against him. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, we know that was very public. The allegations from Dr. Christine Ford, that was there, and many of these were believed by the same people now questioning the validity of Ms. Reade's sexual assault allegations. Now, it's interesting that we live in a time, we live in a period in our history where something like this comes up. Sexual assault, a very immensely, profoundly serious issue, a serious topic, and it's been reduced to politics. It's been reduced to a political argument. Mr. Biden speaking about that now. He's talking about just where he is with this whole thing as far as what went on, what's going on, the allegations, so on and so forth. You know the deal with it. We're still trying to all figure it out. That's the point. However, my question is, where are the women in all this? Where specific are the women? Not where are they physically, but where are they as far as the discussion goes? It's been reduced to politics. Because now I say it's been reduced to politics because now there's not as much of the concern about the women are secondary. Primarily it's, it happened to your boy now. How come you're not saying the same thing? And that's what's coming from Trump and Kavanaugh supporters. Those who, deny the allegations without evidence, of course, but they deny the allegations against them. These are the people coming out to question, to say, well, wait a minute. Well, how come you're not doing the same with Joe Biden's accuser as you were with Trump and as with Kavanaugh? And that should be secondary. That should be secondary. The why you're not saying the same about this person as that person, that shouldn't be the first part of it. There's the question of why women don't report. There's so many reasons that exist to begin with, but this is just another one of them. This is just another one because it happened or it didn't happen, but the allegations came forward and they should be investigated to the fullest extent. Doesn't matter what I feel about Trump. This is not about politics at this moment. They should be investigated to the fullest and we go from there. But there's no concern about women. That's the sad part in this, is that there's no concern. There's this, again, as I said earlier, there's this giddiness. You got Biden now. How come you're not saying the same? And there is no, let's do something about the women. Let's help them. Let's find out the truth. There's none of that. There's none of that. This is a gotcha moment. Oh, we got you now. What do you got? What do you have? And those who are on Biden's side or the Democratic side or liberal side, you're not innocent of all this either. Because people are coming out, of course, and very sadly, after all the hell that was raised with Trump and with Judge Kavanaugh, the same things are being said about Tara-Reade. Well, why did she wait this long? Oh, she's just trying to hurt Joe Biden. And it's like, man, we did all this fighting against Trump, against Kavanaugh. This happens and we turn around and we use the very same things they're saying just because it's happening with Joe Biden. Again, this is being reduced to politics. Reduced to politics. And where are the women in this? When are we going to talk about them? That should be primary in this. But at this point, everything is so politics heavy. So politics heavy that nothing can be done, nothing can be said without there being a concern about which side they're on. How mad should we be? A lot of people think. Did a Republican do this? Did a Democrat do this? I recall once when I was deployed to Afghanistan, my boss, very, very heavy Fox News supporter, very heavy Trump supporter as well. And he walked in, and he had it on the television. I was barely paying attention to it while we were working, but he had it there, and I was occupied enough, so it didn't bother me. I can sit through and have it on, and it'd be okay. But he walked in from outside. Now the volume was loud enough. We were in an area where it wasn't disturbing a lot of people, but the volume was loud enough so that you can hear it. And then it was the halls were kind of thin, the walls thin. You can hear it outside basically. So he came in from outside and had a big smile on his face. Now something was said, on the program. I kind of watched or whatever. He walks in. The first thing that comes out of his mouth is, "Who said that?" And I said, "Sir, why does that matter? What do you think about what was said?" And it came from, I believe, someone who is more on the Democratic side. There was a debate going on of some kind. Between not a political debate, like between politicians, I'm talking about just among the panelists and so on, something like, what we normally see when we watch those networks. And he comes in and, "Who said that? Who said that?" And again, I said, "Well, sir, what difference does it make?" And he just kind of smirked and continued to question who said it. I said, "Sir, it shouldn't matter. What do you think about the comment? What do you think? Do you agree with it or do you not agree with it?" He needed that approval per se. He needed that to kind of give him the little push to say, "Oh, do I agree with this or do I not agree with this?" And I bring that up because that's where we are. That's where we are now. It matters because of who you support. Not let's look at what went on. Let's investigate. Let's check no, it's who's doing it. Who is this going against? Oh, this is Biden? Let me kind of step back a little bit. If you were that angry when it was Dr. Ford, you're that angry with the Trump supporters or the Trump allegations, it should be the same here. This should be investigated. We investigate this to the fullest. That's what we do. Not say, "Oh, well, it's Biden. Hey, whatever. We can't say anything." It should be investigated. Neither side is innocent in this. Neither side. This is one of the times where the both sides argument kind of does apply, because neither side is okay with this. We should be doing the same thing, and that's my point. We should be doing the same thing. We should have the same fire and the same passion here as we did with Trump support, the Trump allegations, and Kavanaugh's allegations. And those of you who support Donald Trump and Justice Kavanaugh, there's no victory here. This happening to Joe Biden, this putting him in this predicament, whether he's innocent or not, which remains to be seen. There's no victory in this. You haven't won anything. Because at the end of the day, you're not concerned about the woman. You're not concerned about Tara-Reade. You have little concern for her as a person. Not primarily. The concern for her is secondary. It is about sticking it to, again, Joe Biden, his supporters, Democrats, liberals. It's about smacking them in the mouth and saying, well, how come you're not saying anything now? You know, that's where the primary focus is. Everybody hates hypocrisy, but everybody's hypocrites. That's the funny part. You know, there's so much hypocrisy going on, but we all hate it at the same time. I get it. It's an issue. It should be brought up, but not primarily. It should not be the first thing. The fighting, the fighting can happen y'all can fight all day. Let's investigate this thing to the fullest. Let's investigate. Find out what happened. Get all the facts that we can possibly get. The same thing we wanted with Trump, the same thing we wanted with Kavanaugh, and every other sexual assault allegation, especially when it's against Republicans. Let's do the same thing here. It should not be any different. That's primary. Now, we can come along at the end, after the fact, and, you stupid, you tripping, your mama tripping, you stupid, we can come back and do all that later on. But let's start with this first. Let's investigate this thing. But what we can't do, we absolutely cannot, we cannot be in such a place in the United States of America in 2020 where a woman comes forward with sexual assault allegations and we immediately go to finding the political advantage in it and disadvantage. Because if that's what we choose to do, and let's be honest with this, women do lie. Women lie. We can't say one way or the other if it's happening here. But we can't take on this mindset very quickly. We can't take on this mindset of believing every allegation that comes forward. We can't do that. There's too many, let's be frank, too many trifling women out there. Too many out there who will just use that because they know that it's good to have that in their back pocket. Because there's a lot of people out there who will go with the allegation without getting 1 ounce of proof, without even caring to see any evidence. They'll just go with it. And there's trifling women out there who will use that to their advantage. So no, it should not be believed straight up as soon as it comes out with nothing further to add to it. No one knows the circumstances behind anything. However, we also cannot let other things dictate whether this is true or not. Stuff that does not have anything to do with it. We can't let time, things like time. That's always one that's thrown out there. Why she wait so long? Time means nothing. History books. Let's look at history books. Why do history books exist? To tell us about stuff that happened a long time ago. So how does time all of a sudden make stuff not happen? We can't use time and say that it didn't happen because it happened a long time ago. No, we can't do that. There's a lot of stuff I did a long time ago I haven't told people about. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. But that's one with the sexual assault. We love to throw that one out there. It didn't happen because it was a long time ago. Why did she wait so long to do it? We don't know the circumstances behind. We can question maybe you can question why somebody waited all day, but that doesn't equal innocence. That doesn't equal innocence. It doesn't mean the person who's being accused is guilty. Just because the person, is guilty or innocent because of the waiting. The person being accused is not innocent just because the accuser waited. It's a lot easier to just pick a side and say, well, I'm either going to believe everybody or I'm not going to believe everybody. I'm going to believe everybody or I'm going to question everyone. We can't do that. That's not going to get us to the bottom of this because everybody is not straight up front like that. Now, of course, the truth is out there. The two people involved in God, they're the only ones who know the truth. But it can't be just to pick one side or the other. That's why investigations happen. That's why we live in this great country where investigations take place. We investigate. We find out. And if we can't get to the bottom of it, sadly, it has to be dismissed. It's difficult. It's difficult to, especially coming back. That's the only reason I would, have any question about time, is because it becomes hard to bring evidence forward. Saying, oh, it just happened and that's it. Anybody can say that part. But we can't sit here and deny, as much as people would like to, men are wrongly accused all the time. Not nearly at the rate that women are assaulted. So we're not going to make a debate out of it. Women are assaulted far more than the false accusations that exist. But that does not mean false accusations aren't there. They are still there. But in this instance, we can't say one way or the other, because that's the purpose of the investigation. The investigation determines that. Not my feelings, not your feelings, not which political party this person represents or who they're trying to hurt. All that doesn't determine whether that person is lying, whether there's a false accusation there. The investigation determines that stuff. And at the end of all this, when all this is said and done, the woman comes forward. If we are where we are today, in this country, the woman comes forward with sexual assault allegations, and our minds go to, what political party is she part of? Who is she accusing? Who is she trying to hurt? Why did it take so long? What was she wearing? How did she let it happen? Why didn't you get mad when somebody else accused this other person over here? She should have said something earlier. When a woman comes forward, someone's mother, someone's sister, someone's daughter, comes forward and says she was sexually assaulted, and our minds immediately go to all those other things, we have to stop asking the question of why women don't report. Because in essence, we're answering them. We're answering those questions. The more we bring up the other stuff, the more we're answering that question. And the more we argue about politics at a time where we should be investigating, that question is being answered very easily for us. This is Robert People. Thank y'all for listening. Hang in there a day at a time. Please be easy. A lot of states are going to phase 1 of reopening, so to speak. Be easy. Take your time. Work your way into it. Nobody's afraid. We're just being smart. Be smart about this, please. Don't be one of the ones who said, oops, I should have. Let's be smart about it right now. Nobody's scared. People just being smart. I'm not scared of catching it myself. I just don't want to give it to anybody if I did catch it. And that's where a lot of people are. Let's not fight about this, y'all. This thing does not care what political party you're part of. This doesn't care. I don't want to see anybody get caught up in this. I can sit here now and think of the person that I despise the absolute most, and I don't even want that person to get it. I don't despise a lot of people to begin with, but I don't want anybody to get this thing. Let's be smart. Again, we can argue about everything after that, but let's be smart about this. Let's be smart. Nobody's losing rights. Nobody's losing rights. Nobody's losing rights. No rights are gone. Nobody's doing any of that. If you think rights are being taken away from you when you still can do whatever, you haven't been paying attention. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day. Let's be smart. Let's hang in there. We will get through this. We will get through this. Y'all take care. I'll see y'all back here on Monday.